What's up, everybody? It's Heat Override, and I'm ready to bring the pain for you and Dr. Rhoda this week. Ooh, yeah! Man, this is going to be a wild, wild show. You know what it is? It's the Heat-tastic Hard Hits and Cool Picks Review. Yeah, wow. We had football, baseball going on. Man, this weekend was insane. The last week has been insane since Thursday, since it started. And then we got Friday football, all the bets that everybody's been putting out on the site. If you haven't been to Dr. Roto, get to Dr. Roto right now. Use code word DOC, get you a percentage off of your prescription so that you can win money in DFS and betting and help your fantasy football teams right now. Because after that weekend, we already got people out for a minute. And I know that you need the help. So you have to get there and get that information. We have tons of articles for you to read. And we're in that chat, the subs only Discord all day long. You will get the information that you need and the help that you need to win your league championships. But man, let's get to the MLB side of things real quick. So, I did my normal, the Heat-tastic MLB bets of the day for Friday. First guy up was Gunnar Henderson. Gunnar Henderson just needed a hit. He had a decent hit prop on it. It was like a 240, 250 by the end of the day, by the time the game started. So that's what I got. Nice little money. We'll throw that in a parlay, have some fun with that, right? But man, Brian Reynolds, and he didn't come through because they postponed the game. So that's just a straight up miss. That's not a loss. That's not a win. That's not a tie. I don't play that game, right? But I will tell you this. I missed on Adolis Garcia. I had him as my home run guy. I don't know what was wrong with him. He couldn't crank that dude anything. Just Texas didn't have a good day. However, if you read my article and you listened to every word I said, you would have had Kyle Schwarber run, 2 runs, and home run. And that is why you go to the Dr. Roto office. Yeah. Woo! Yeah, man. Like I suggested it. I said, hey, you got to play Schwarber, right? And I want you started with the runs. But in that, man, I had a plus 350 on the 2 runs, plus 350 on the home run. And the regular run was like a 110. So a negative 110. So I just made so much money. You parlay that together, and that was magic. That is 4-1 on Friday. That brings my overall total. This article, the Heat-tastic MLB bets of the day on Friday, to 55-37 for the year. Lou and Trevor, as I've been saying for weeks, have been simply fire in DFS and betting as well. And now it's just going to get out of hand. I don't want to forget about my boy Ken, too. I see you out there, Ken. Yeah. And now we got a bunch of other people putting in their work for right now for the NFL season. So I'm just telling you right now, get to Dr. Roto. We're one of the cheapest, and we definitely know how to prescribe the right prescription. Yeah. You knew that was coming, didn't you? Hey, it's what we do. It's what I'm going to say. And so with the hard hits and cool picks article, I brought up Omar Space. I brought up Pace and Petrie and Patrick Queen. All were really low, other than Patrick Queen being a little higher than them, of course. Space didn't even really get to play. So that just but that's somebody in a dynasty league, like I said, that you stash. That's why, the hard hits and cool picks is the IDP waiver wire article for our site. And, Petrie came through, not the best of games, but he did get enough points that definitely would have helped you in your fantasy league. And Ivan Pace did exactly what he do. But you're here to talk about today. You're here to talk about the article that's on the site right now. And that is the new hard hits and cool picks week 2, right? So I highlighted Zach Bond of the Eagles, linebacker, and Tony Adams, safety of the Jets. And then, of course, linebacker Mac Willis Sr. for the Cards. So Zach Bond, if you did not watch that Friday night game, you didn't know what was going on. And this is where I say sometimes the analytics, the number guys, all the other people that try to rely on those little things, they fail to watch the game sometimes. And what I saw was Bond running around like a madman. Madman? Well, what did that madman do? He only got 15 tackles and 2 sacks right now, and he's 1%, under 1% owned in all your leagues. Why don't you go get him in that IDP league? Because right now that man is the man. let's get over to Tony Adams. Tony Adams, 12 tackles. Man, what a stellar performance. Again, another guy under 1%. And then we're going to spit it out with Mac Wilson. 9 tackles, stuffed past the fence, under 1%. What was the most amazing part of this, too, is that what a lot of people sometimes miss on is the eyeball test. This is what we call the eyeball test. And I know that right now a lot of people go, well, I can see just like you, Heat Override. Well, yeah, you can. But the thing is are you watching the formations? Are you watching where these players end up? And it's not even about that. Sometimes you have to watch where that player is at all times. And of course, with 15 tackles going on, you saw Zach Bond all night long. But here's the thing. Before the tackle, during the tackle, and after the tackle, you saw Bond. Last night's game with the Jets, of course, got stomped out by the 49ers without Christian McCaffrey, which that's a whole nother headache that I'm happy. I got him in one league. One league, I got Christian McCaffrey. That's it. I do not have Mason, whatever. My team is deep in that league. I don't need him. Eventually, McCaffrey will come back. At least I hope, because the only other time that I had McCaffrey was in the Scott Fish Bowl 11, and he practically missed the whole year, and then he came back, and yeah, it wasn't good. But this year, he definitely seems poised to have a decent year, but if you have McCaffrey, I hope you have Mason, because you're not going to get it. And that's, again, going back to handcuffing. Yes, sometimes you have to handcuff your IDP players too. And that brings it out. That makes your team more complete because you don't always have to change it. Now, some leagues do credit, you or only allow one linebacker on the whole roster. Well, then you got a problem. But at the same time, when you're coming back and you're looking at everything that just happened over the week, the betting articles that happened, all the injuries that went down. I mean, of course, McCaffrey just missed, and that's just light stuff. But, we started off with J.J. McCarthy, and then, bam, we get all the other injuries that happened. And now we're all sent back. You got Puka Nacua. Just problems all over. And if things couldn't get worse for some teams, they did. So when you're talking about looking at the IDP waiver wire and you're looking for, let me help you out a little bit like that. Normally, I just do this as a review. And so when you get my Bring the Pain at the end of the week, you're going to get my thoughts about Monday night. I bet you can't wait for that. And you'll also get the Ultra Contrarian Show, the Ultra Contrarian Show, which was fair. Once again, I started this year off where I left off. And that is because of what we do at drroto.com. We literally are always there for you and everything in your fantasy teams. So when you're looking on the IDP waiver wire and you're saying, hey, okay, let's say you had Patrick Queen and you only got the couple tackles and whatnot from him. And you're saying, hey, that just wasn't, he's going to be back. I know he's going to be back, but in case I don't like the matchup, say, and Atlanta really did keep the ball away from the middle of the field. They did a lot of runs to the outside with Bijan, and that left a lot of more tackles for everybody else but that. Also, there was a point in the game with the Pittsburgh Steelers and the Falcons that Pittsburgh literally was camping in the background the whole time in the backfield, literally just sitting there. And I mean, we had two sacks, forced fumbles taken away by penalties for TJ Watt until he finally got that third sack. So when you see all that going on, nobody's getting tackles. Nobody's doing anything. So what you do to combat that is you look for players mostly on crappy teams, because the Jets, somebody like Tony Adams will help you out because the Jets really didn't come up. And I will leave all those thoughts. I'm really want to talk about it now, but for me, I'll say this. You had a backup running back come in and slice your supposedly good run defense. You got whooped. CJ Mosley was getting whooped. I saw him, but he was nowhere to be found. That front line was getting trashed, and that goes to why, when this year started, and I'll call out, there's a lot of fantasy experts in this industry that say that the Jets had the best overall roster. No, they don't, because the 49ers showed why they have the best overall roster, because the 49ers went in there without McCaffrey and trounced them. It didn't matter what Aaron Rodgers was doing. it didn't matter how great Alan Lazard. I mean, I can already tell you there's some people in this industry that knew that was going to happen. So kudos to you, mans. Anyway, let's get it back to it. When you see teams like that, we can all make these bold statements, and then week one happens, and they say, are you gonna overreact? Are you gonna trade? There's overreactions going on. No, you stick. Look, I lost in 2 leagues. The Dr. Roto staff league. Now it's because we're on sleeper. I get lost in a win, but I literally Moody had 26 points as a kicker, and I was up. But what am I supposed to do with 26 points as a kicker? Like, he came back, he was down. I was like, I gave Moody 20. I ended up losing by a few points. So when all this happens, you can't react. You can't think about that. But when you want to go to the waiver wire and you're looking for what you're looking for, you have to look at the certain things. You have to look at who's getting play. You have to look at who's coming up. I went over this in the IDP 101 podcast I did a couple months ago, that a lot of people, again, go to formations, go to who's the coach, goes to what the players are, but you have to know the players' nuances. Okay, so we'll say Troy Polamalu. There was no numbers for Troy Polamalu. Of course, you had tackles, sacks, interceptions, touchdowns, but we all go back. One of the most crazy, exciting moments of Troy Polamalu's career is when he literally jumped over the center, timed the snap correctly, and got a sack. Okay, when you're doing that, that's stuff that can't be taught. That's stuff that numbers will not show you. You have to actually watch the game, believe in those stats, and buy into them. And that's exactly what I do when I give you my IDP waiver wire, the hard hits and cool picks article. So when I tell you Zach Bond was all over the field, believe me, he was all over the field. That was amazing, dude, right? Adams, all over the field. Mac Wilson, all over the field. I'm giving you people that are playing at a high motor for teams that are just going to be like, so Arizona, that defense ain't that good. So player like Mac Wilson, he's going to have plenty of opportunities to get a lot of tackles. So all year, you can definitely stream him, or you could bring him in, put him on your team, and sub him in, sub you out. Maybe some of you got a 3 linebacker league, all right? Well, then get up on that. Tony Adams, again, I don't think the Jets are going to be good. I think the defense is trash. I think that they're going to be done. And that's coming from the IDP expert right now. I don't care about the Jets having the supposed best staff. Yeah. You know what? If the Jets' backup running back came in, Braylon Allen, he wouldn't have done what Breece Hall did. And that's another thing, too. And this, man, I'm not giving you Bring the Pain right now. All right. Head over to Dr. Roto. Make sure you read all the things. We got bets going in. We're going to have multiple articles like always. I wish you guys would have went there last night, because there were so many articles for bets, but mine literally cashed. Our subs have been cashing all weekend long. Sunday was crazy, and I can't wait to do it again. So have a great day, everybody. Always remember to bring the pain. And may the points be with you, the tackles be with you, and the bets be with you.